In the spring, at about the same time, he again left, but before doing so, handed me this box, which, as he said, contained papers of value and importance, and which he desired to leave in my charge until called for hereafter. Of course, I did not decline to receive them, but little imagined their importance until his letter from St. Louis was received. This letter I carefully preserved, and it will be given with these papers. The box was of iron, carefully locked, and of such weight as to render it a safe depository for articles of value. I placed it in a safe and secure place, where it could not be disturbed until such time as it should be demanded by its owner. The letter alluded to above was the last communication I ever received from Beale, and I never saw him again. I can only suppose that he was killed by Indians, afar from his home, though nothing was heard of his death. His companions, too, must all have shared his fate, as no one has ever demanded the box or claimed his effects. The box was left in my hands in the spring of 1822, and by authority of his letter, I should have examined its contents in 1832. 10 years thereafter, having heard nothing from Beale in the meantime. But it was not until 1845, some 23 years after it came into my possession, that I decided upon opening it. During that year, I had the lock broken, and with the exception of the 2 letters addressed to myself and some old receipts, found only some unintelligible papers, covered with figures and totally incomprehensible to me. According to his letter, these papers convey all the information necessary to find the treasure he has concealed, and upon you devolves the responsibility of recovering it. Should you succeed, you will be amply compensated for your work, and others near and dear to me will likewise be benefited. The end is worth all your exertions, and I have every hope that success will reward your efforts. Such, in substance, was the statement of Mr. Morris's in answer to the various interrogations propounded to him. And finding that I could elicit no further information, I resolved to do the best I could with the limited means at my disposal. I commenced by reading over and over again the letters to Mr. Morris's, endeavoring to impress each syllable they contained on my memory and to extract from them, if possible, some meaning or allusion that might give, perhaps a faint or barely perceptible hint as a guide. No such clue, however, could I find, and where or how to commence was a problem I found most difficult to solve. To systematize a plan for my work, I arranged the papers in the order of their length, and numbered them, designing to commence with the first, and devote my whole attention to that until I had either unraveled its meaning or was convinced of its impossibility. Afterwards, to take up the others and proceed as before. All of this I did in the course of time, but failed so completely that my hopes of solving the mystery were well nigh abandoned. My thoughts, however, were constantly upon it, and the figures contained in each paper, in their regular order, were fixed in my memory. My impression was that each figure represented a letter, but as the numbers so greatly exceeded the letters of the alphabet, that many different numbers represented the same letter. With this idea, a test was made of every book I could procure by numbering its letters and comparing the numbers with those of the manuscript. All to no purpose, however, until the Declaration of Independence afforded the clue to one of the papers and revived all my hopes. To enable my readers to better understand the explanation of this paper, the Declaration of Independence is given herewith, and will be of interest to those designing to follow up my investigations. When I first made this discovery, I thought I had the key to the whole, but soon ascertained that further work was necessary before my task was completed. The encouragement afforded, however, by this discovery enabled me to proceed, and I have persisted in my labors to the present time. Now, as I have already said, I am forced by circumstances to devote my time to other pursuits, and to abandon hopes which were destined never to be realized.